Welcome back here to episode 122 here at WB Cycles. What we're going to do today on our FXSB, we're just going to jack it up with the center jack there, and we're going to pull the rear wheel off. When we do so, you will be able to check out the rear brakes. We'll also be able to check out our belt, our primary belt. We do know that the rear rim and front rim were half under the ground. We're going to pull these wheels off. We have the stock spoke rear wheel and the stock spoke front wheel. The tires are aged, but they are the originals. We're going to put them on for now. The game plan is to get the bike to where we can fire it up, take it in for a safety, bring it back, and then do whatever we'd like to do customization-wise. The wires are in the back for blinkers. I haven't found the wires in the front for the blinkers yet, but I will find them because I have to hook some kind of blinkers up. One thing I did notice, that the rear exhaust bolt to hold the flange in is missing. So I'll have to take a look at that and see if I can zoom it in for you. Right there. I don't know if the bolt just fell out or if the bolts broke and the studs stuck up in there, but when I looked it all over, that's one thing I noticed. But nonetheless, we will get it all organized here now. Earlier today, with the tractor, I was down by the river. I got a lot of trees. I hit a stump above the shock right here. I bent the mower blade, as you can see. I got two of them coming, and I was lucky. I thought that the actual drive for so this is the bottom half, this is the shaft, but on the top half, the pulleys there that runs off the belt. You can see them all there. I thought that I broke it, but I didn't. It was just the blade, and so I shut it off right away and drove back up the hill, and I will give this a good cleaning. I was going to video this, but I thought I'd be able to get the blades today, which I was unable to. We also have a set of brand new progressive shocks here. I'm trying to make sure that the camera doesn't change the angle. Brand new progressive shocks. These are on the lowest setting right now. Obviously, we're going to try and boost them up. It would be nice to have some 14s or 13.5s like on the FXR. But we will open up those progressives as high as we can and see where that gets us. If not, we'll put these stock ones back on. But since we have those kicking around, we may as well utilize them. But I'll get set up here and then we'll go from there. Okay, thanks. So what we're going to start off doing is we're going to remove the rear wheel. So you can see we have a caliper. There's our caliper bracket. It's used as one of the spacers. I'm not sure the spacing that this wheel is going to have to be to go on here. So I'm going to assume it's the same, but I don't know. So the way I take it off, I'm going to loosen the axle nut, 1/16 on this side, 15/16 on the axle side. We're going to use a 1/2 inch to back off our wheel adjuster. So this adjusts the tension in the groove of the swing arm. And then when we get these loosened and we get our axle loosened, we're actually going to push the wheel forward to take up the gap there. And then we'll pull the belt off. Hopefully this belt's okay. I can't determine that right now. But you can see we have the tire rubbing on the inside of the fender. So obviously we can see that this tire is no good. But I'm not sure if the fender and the struts, let me zoom out, are bent at all. I can tell you right now that this side of the fender is not sitting straight with the wheel. So either the wheel's off or our strut and everything is pushed over. Once I get it off, I can determine that. I can tell just looking at the rear blinker, rear run light, that it's off a little bit, but the key is you want the tire to be centered in the fender. which right now I can tell you we're hitting on this side. So once I get it off, I can take a better look at things. I already took the belt guard off. I did that yesterday, but nonetheless, I will loosen the axle and then the adjusters here. So I don't have a tall, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have a tall stand anymore. I just got a little one, so I'll try and zoom in like this so you can see me working on it. So we're doing the axle here right now. Crack it loose, lefty loosey. I'm loosening the nut on this side, I'm holding the axle end on the other side. And of course I want to remember the spacing that I take it off with. I'm going to assume it's the same as the other wheel. I'm not sure though. I got to mount this rotor and pulley on the other wheel once I get it off. There we go. The key is to take the wheel axle out before you drop the shocks. If I drop the shocks, this axle bolt would be behind my muffler and I'd have a really tough time getting at it. So just a little trick. And that goes for baggers and anything else. A lot of times you can get it off and then reinstall it with the axle coming in from the left side of the bike. Because if you were doing a bagger, you had your bag and you had the muffler. Last thing you want to do is bang your muffler off every time you want to take the wheel out and change that axle. Or excuse me, change the tire. Just seeing how tight this axle is. Like you say, I don't know if they put anti-seize on it or any grease. I couldn't tell you the last time it was out. So I'm just spinning it around here and seeing. You can see it spinning. It seems to be spinning freely, but I don't know if it's spinning freely within the wheel bearings inside. I'm now going to loosen our adjuster off. So I've got the center jack staying up just enough to say that that tire will spin. Just so we're off the lift is what I'm saying. Some people like the spoke wheels. I don't mind them. On my road glide, I've gone to cast aluminum wheels there. No different than I did with the FXR here. We've got the 9-spoke on it as well. Pop this cap off. There we go. So I should be able to push if I can. There we go. Pushing the whole wheel forward. Might have to go a little bit more yet to get the axle go a little bit more so I can get the belt off. So I'll show you the adjustment we do have there. So I'm going to bring the camera up. Sorry again, I only have the one stand, but so right here, this swing arm is oblong. So this axle was actually centered right here. So I loosened the adjuster, which allowed me to push the whole tire forward. Pushing the whole tire forward, you can see here's the head of the axle, and you can see the wear mark. It was right there. Me pushing it forward gave me enough room to get my belt off. Right here I can see all the lugs on the belt. They look okay. I have a lot of dirt built up in the lugs on the pulley. When I get the bike off, I'll wash this and I can clean all that dirt out and see where we're at. So now I'm going to bring you back over here. Sorry, we're all over the map. I'm going to get my rubber mallet and a punch, see if I can bang that axle out. I might actually use an actual hammer. I'll only use a rubber mallet if I'm going to hit the actual axle. So I'm just going to go right on the end of this axle. It's moving nicely. You can see the tire dropping down. So now I'll come to the other side, see if I can lift the wheel up to keep it level and pull the axle out. So there's my axle, as I can see. There was just a little bit of, it looks like maybe grease, but there's nothing on there to keep it actually lubricated, which is fine. I'll probably put a little bit of anti-seize back on. Wheel spacer on this side come out. Like I said, I'm going to keep it because I don't know if this other wheel is going to be the same or not. This side was our rotor, so it come out. So I'm going to put this drift, I used a drift and my hammer to bang the axle out. I'll just show you again here. So here's a swing arm right here. You see the gap there. So the axle, when I push the axle forward, it allowed me to move the wheel forward. So that's just an example. This is a chrome one here. Would look nice on this bike. I'm not sure if this one would fit or not, but nonetheless, this is off a shovelhead as well, but an older shovelhead. Actually, it's an FLH dagger shovel, but there's not too much different involved in. So I've now move these, move the tools out of the way. I'm going to lift it up if I can. I'd like to get this out from the bottom so I can drop the wheel out through the bottom. There we go. Now I may have to take it up a bit, or I may have to lift the whole thing up. I feel like I'm going to have to take it up a bit more. So let me go up. I don't want to lose it through the bottom, but I may have to just jack up the bike itself with the center stand. I thought maybe that would give me enough to get it out, but I don't think so. And that's okay. Not my first rodeo. I've got a lot of tires on the ground, so I'm not proud of that either, but it is what it is. See if I can tilt this on a bit of an angle. I'm going to have to go take the bike up a little bit. So I'll take the bike up a little bit. I don't want it to fall. I kind of got in between the swing arm right now. So all we're doing here is just turning the center jack up a bit. You have to get a tire up to hold that caliper up. Let's caliper up and out of the way. Would be nice. Yeah, I'll put a little tie wrap right there. This acts as the spacer on this side, and there's actually a spacer in the wheel. I'll get it once we get it out. It's not one thing, it's another thing. I've actually never changed a wheel by pulling out the bottom of my hoist, and I thought maybe today I was going to be able to. It's kind of the purpose of it, but like I say, I've had more luck doing them on the ground, a tire, like just changing a tire on my tire machine, than I have jacking them up on a lift. There we go. So we've got it out now. I'm just turning the tire. So you see, we know the left side was rubbing. We're not sure why, but I'm going to bring the camera over so you guys can see. So we got it out here as we're looking at the back of the bike. We've got the tire out. There's our oil filter right there. We did that, you guys saw that earlier. Here's our caliper. Our brake pads are pretty worn. We'll put new ones into them. And then we'll obviously change the fluid. Belt doesn't look too bad. You can see, if you guys look, right beside the oil filter, you'll see a pulley turning. That's the transmission pulley. I'm turning it by me just pulling this belt. I'm just checking all the lugs. You can see all these lugs, making sure that they're all in half decent shape. If you got to change a belt, you got to take the swing arm off. Not a fun job. On the FXR, we made it chain drive, so you don't care and you don't have to do that. But just something to know and think about for those that think it's a real easy job. Oh, don't get me wrong, it's not a hard job, but you got to remove the swing arm. So I think everything there looks good. I'll see if I got brake pads for in here. I'll pop them out. And also we'll get this wheel ready to change. So bear with me here and we'll go from there. So all I was doing, you can see the dirt on the ground. I was cleaning out the grooves of the sprocket. I was just using needle nose pliers. I'm now going to take the wheel outside, give it a wash. I'm not using this one, but I want to get the rest of those grooves all cleaned out so the belt will sit fully in its spot. And then I'll remove the rotor and the pulley and mount on the other wheel. So I'll do that now. So we're going to remove these 5 Torx here, and they have nuts on the bottom of them. So what I just looked at, our rim we're going to put on, the original OEM rim, it threads into the hub. So 2 things I got to make sure. I got to make sure that the bolts that I take out of this old wheel will thread in and not bottom out in that one. So I'm going to take it off anyways because I'm going to run that other wheel. But a few differences here. I don't know where the original hardware, obviously, because I got this bike from Dave, but I'll get this one off and we'll go from there. But just get you set up here again. I only got a small stand, so I can probably bring you up a little bit and tilt you in. And then I'll get a wrench for underneath. I think it's a 1/2 inch or a 9/16, I'm not sure. Tough to get in behind there, that's for sure. I have to stand it up to see if I can get in behind there. Even then it's very hard to get in there. Almost need a stubby wrench to get in there. We'll see if I got a stubby wrench. Hopefully that bookshelf doesn't fall over. Got all my manuals on it. We'll take a look here now. I got a stubby. Gonna even be hard to hold it once I get it back there. Yeah. It's bigger than I thought. I thought it was a 5/8. It's bigger than that, so let's see what we're working with here. It's 11/16, we'll try. Again, this bike is, okay, it's 11/16. See if we can get an 11/16 on it. Nope, we're not going to be able to. When we get the box in there. Nope. So it looks like it's going to be a stubby. And then I don't know if I'll be able to hold it and turn it. I may have to put in, oh no, there it goes. Not too bad actually. Like I say, I don't know if these bolts will be long enough to go into the other hub, but we'll worry about getting these ones all out first. The wheel is still really wet. I'll probably have stuff all over me, but that's okay. I dropped the other nut. Now this one is going to probably drop too, so not a big deal. I'm actually surprised on how nice everything is coming off of this bike for sitting for so long, especially for sitting outside. Dave, who owned it, like I say, he had 3 covers on it, so he did his due diligence that he thought he could do. That one fell, I don't know where it went to. Not a big deal. We will find it out. It fell right in the hub. There it goes. And we will rotate it again. Nothing wrong with this wheel. I'm just not a big fan of the spokes, and because it came with the stock. I hope you guys can even see what I'm doing here. But because it came with the stock spoke wheels, or excuse me, aluminum spoke wheels, I just really like them, and like I say, I'll match the FXR. Took some parts over to the other shop today. The other shop's more of a staging slash, we have more parts over there all kind of laid out and stuff, but our other FXR's over there, so I took over a primary, a center dash console, and dual front calipers today. So I brought the rest of the engine parts to build the other S&S engine over here today. And then that other S&S is the one that's going to go in the other FXR. So they'll both have S&S's in them. One will be just over 100 cubic inch, and then this one here is obviously a 117. Like I say, it looks like there's a lot going on, just not enough time in the day. Got my daughter's birthday party tomorrow, so it all takes time, but we're getting there. Luckily, we have a few bikes to ride. It would be nice if we had like type of insurance where we could just throw a bike on the road and ride it, and then put a different one on the road the next day, because here in Ontario they want us to insure them all, and it gets expensive. So when you have multiple bikes, it almost defeats the purpose. You can collect everything in the world, but if you can't enjoy them, then what's the point? So okay, so this one even had a spacer on it, so I don't know. I'll have to see if I need the spacer on the other one. So now we're going to turn it around the other way, because I got to get the rotor off. I'm actually going to clean this up here. Grab all these bolts, move them out of the way. Get this last nut I dropped. Move these out of the way. So I'll show you what I meant by a spacer, because you got to keep everything in alignment. So that spacer there was in between the wheel hub and the back of our sprocket. So it gave it a little bit of a space. You can see I cleaned out all the gaps, all the mud out of there. So now hopefully the belt will sit a little bit better. So now I need an Allen key instead of a Torx, so I'll set these ones aside because we may need them later. I say I hope you can be seeing what I'm doing. So tougher with this. This stand only goes about 2 feet. So this one needs an Allen key. I've got a whole set of them, so I just bring them over so I can see which one I need. You always want to make sure you got the right one. You don't want to strip anything. Especially when you know we're going to be needing it again. Not sure what size I need in the back of it, but we will take a look. So it's smaller than a 5/8 or 9/16 this time. Bring a 9/16 over. So it's a 9/16. I'll turn the wheel around so you guys can see again. I hope you can see. No guarantees. So this one here is lock nuts on it, so I may have to crack it loose and then get a ratchet, because I'm not going to be able to have to turn them all the way out. There's one. Next weekend, this weekend's my daughter's birthday party. Next weekend we have my buddy Ian and Kenny's memorial ride. So that'll be a good one. We'll get that videoed. Last year we just made it back from Newfoundland in time to go on it. We will definitely be going on it every year that we're back, Kenny and I and my friend Kyle Green, we were on the Rotten Chopper ride. Cripes, I don't know how long ago now, but I was on my 84.5. Kyle was on his chopper, and Kenny was on his, and it rained so hard, and we were having problems with water in the intakes. We were having so much problem, but we all knew how to work on bikes, and we had a good laugh. We were the last ones to arrive, but I wouldn't have done it with any other guys. And then Kenny passed away, I want to say 3 years after that. He got in an accident where he was taken out at a corner in the little village of Tilsonburg where he lived. Very sad. And then Ian worked at Harley dealer, worked at a couple small shops, knew his stuff. He also was taken early from us, and very, very sad. And so this ride is to remember both of them. I have last year's ride on my YouTube, but yeah, it was very sad. It's good to remember people. It's good to, so Ian's fairing is what's the inside fairing of my Road Glide. That's why you can still see the red. His bike was matte black and red. So and then I have his memorial sticker in so no spacer on the rotor. I'm gonna now set this tire down, we're done with it. But just gonna grab some wheel nuts here, or excuse me, some nuts from it. So we've got 5 nuts, 5 bolts in the rotor. I think this one is still good and true. I didn't actually check it, but I'm just using my eye. I believe it is. It's definitely going to pass safety, the thickness of it. But no, like I say, it was a good trip, a good ride, a lot of memories, and everyone goes to share those memories. Just get the water off of here. I like to keep the bubble wrap. It helps things, put a towel down or the bubble wrap so it doesn't do any damage or scratch or anything. Obviously these wheels I don't care about, but you know, anything else. They say they were sitting in mud for 13 years, so now we're going to lift up the wheel. Again, I don't know the spacing we need, if I need that spacer or not. So the rotation they're telling me goes this way, so that tells me that the rotor goes on this side. So let's see if we can clean it up. The axle goes through here, obviously, and you just want to make sure everything's aligned the best way it can be. I'm going to grab the axle here. It's a 3/4 axle. Older bikes, 3/4 axle, newer bikes, inch. Okay, so that's going through nicely. Going right through and hitting the other side, so that's good. I think there's a spacer on the old wheel still that I might need. It's tough to tell if they're spacers or if it's a wheel insert, because sometimes you can take an inch axle and put a spacer in to bring it down. And we're going to grab this rotor. Just going to put it around and see. See how there's no spacer on there. So we got to think, is that suitable the way it is? So I'm going to put it back on this other one here. You guys aren't going to be able to see it, but yep, that looks good. This way. Always got to remember the rotation of the bike. The rotor always goes on the right side, so you got to remember that. So this one actually goes on the other side. Tire rotation. Tire rotation goes that way, so it's telling me we go on this side. There's a little spacer there. Just wipe some of this grease off of it. Might wire wheel it. I know the axle fits through it, no problem. So I've cleaned up that spacer on my wire wheel. Probably could have left it, but I just wanted to clean it up. Just make me feel a little better there. So now I'm going to have to get a socket to take these out, take this one out here. Like I say, I don't know if I'll have the right bolts to go in there, because on the other wheel they were all, nuts on the back of them. So these ones are just bolts. Again, I don't know if these were just set in there to keep the threads clean. I'm not exactly sure. I never took it apart, right? So it's tough when you don't take it apart. You got to remember though to know that. And you got to remember the rotation. That's the key. So this one here, we'll take a look. I'm going to get a little screwdriver so I can clean out. There's some spider nests in it. Not that it really matters, but just to clean it up out of the holes here. So this is telling me rotation that way. Should be another rotation on this side. Maybe this only has it way up. So it's weird. It's telling me rotation this way, rotation that way. So they're telling me this wheel can go on either way. This arrow is going that way. That arrow is going that way. That's interesting. So I know that my valve stems are all on the right-hand side. So here's the right-hand side. So I'm going to make this side my my rotor. I'm doing that strictly because my other bikes, my valve stem is on the right side as well. So I'm gonna grab the rotor bolts and just see if they'll fit in. Like I said, they did have nuts on them, so I don't know if they'll fit. Butterfingers here. I'm going to put my socket on there and run them down by hand here first. Or run them in, I should say, with a ratchet. Just want to make sure they're the right ones and that they'll bottom out. I'm just going to run them down and in and make sure that they're going in, because obviously we'll put Loctite on them. Looks like these will work, so that's good. When you have different hardware on a different wheel to this wheel, makes you get a little bit worried. Not worried, just that you may have to take a day to go find what you need or whatever the case may be. That looks good. Well, again, I don't do any editing of my videos. I just do them for me. A gentleman that does art here in around London, Ontario, he does art with old Harley parts. He come over yesterday looking at some things that I had. And he's like, oh, I found some videos with you in them on YouTube. I don't have any other social media, so I thought it was pretty funny how he came across some videos. He was kind of thought it was neat himself, but a little bit funny. A little bit funny to say the least. So we know all those went down, no problem. We're going to mount our rotor on now. I'm going to grab some Loctite. I'm going to go with some red thread locker here made by Loctite. I'll run them in. I don't remember the spec to torque them, but I will run them in, and then I will torque them. And I'll look up the torque. Just for me to run them in, use a little bit longer extension, I can get a better rotation on it, just to get them all seated. Okay, give me a sec. I'm gonna go get the torque spec and I'll be back. So they're calling for 30 to 45, so I'm gonna go on the high end of 45. I'm going to go in a criss-cross pattern. I just like to go a little bit on the higher side. Not the higher side, but the highest side of them. I'm using an extension because I only got the one torque wrench. The other one is in inch pounds to do engine work, so I had to put an extension, or excuse me, an adapter. I should say, not an extension. So I felt it just move on there. Heard that one click. One more here. There we go. That is all 5. So all torqued in. This video is getting a little long. We'll see. We'll flip this over and see if we can get that spacer on, or excuse me, a pulley on. I actually want to measure the rim, not the length and stuff. Measure from outside to outside here. It's going to be a little bit tough since I got the rotor on, but nine inches it looks like. I just need to know if I need to put the spacer on for the spacer for the, I had a tough time talking, the spacer for the pulley. Looks like I should. This is the same width this one is, so I'm going to put that spacer back on. So now I hope I shouldn't say hope, I hope these bolts that I have are going to be the same. The ones that we took out. Use a rubber mallet here. I'm a little concerned that they might not be, but we will test them out. Looks like they're going to work. You just never know when the spoke one had nuts on the back. Just don't know if these ones will work, right? They might be too long, not long enough. If I got to pull it back off to put a different, take the spacer out, I will. Just going to run these down and Oh, I need the Allen key. Where did I put the old Allen key? Allen key. Where did I put the Allen key? There we go. So again, I'm just running these down to make sure that they bottom out. Nothing worse than having ones that are loose and then those look good. I'm only going to run the one down. As you can see, they're all in place. And then I'll pull them out and I'll put Loctite on them. And then we'll call it a video because this video is getting a little long. Again, I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to, I could learn it, but it doesn't really bother me. I'm usually the one that watches them back anyways. Sometimes I can't get out in the shop for quite a while. Been back at the dojo quite a bit, you know, trying to get back in shape. I was 267, I'm down to 248 now. So that makes me feel good. So, you know, just slowly working away at things. Not enough time in the day. Price of everything's so expensive. My partner Tom and I have been going through, when I say partner on motorbike stuff, not partner, my partner Sarah. But Tom and I have been going through things and getting things up for sale. He just sold, I think it was an 89 or an 87 Softail, original owner. And picked it up a while back and didn't need anything. And we still got the 99 Dyna. Hopefully we'll get it sold, put some money in the bank. Price of everything these days, it's just crazy. So we're just going to run these down until they bottom out, and then we'll torque them to spec, and then we'll call it a video. Okay, we'll get the torque spec and then we will torque it and then we'll call it a video. So just give me a second while I get the torque spec. So 65 foot-pounds. So again, we'll go a crisscross pattern. I've got Loctite on them. I'm just trying to hold the wheel so it doesn't spin on me. There's one. Two. Three. Four. Five. So there we go. So we got everything torqued there on the wheel. So I'm just going to check the tire pressure on it. We'll do a part 2 of the reinstall of it, but that's the gist of it. So we're getting places here. Stay tuned.